I was sitting by a bus stop yesterday and thinking about the trajectory of modern society as I saw a bustling city. Buses were coming in, women walking their dogs. I almost zoned out looking at the scene. I went inside my head trying to make sense of how feminism fits into the current social order. It's an ideology that impacts how one half of the human population interacts with the other half, so it deserves deeper thought and reflection than mere soundbites and slogans. In essence, the feminine ideology was all about equality, and it culminated in the suffragist movement of the early 1900s, when women finally got the right to vote. This is the only definition by which I can call myself a feminist, but the modern version of this ideology, what's also called third-wave feminism, is a creed of hate and resentment. We have built a society where the masculine is demonized and the feminine is pedestalized. Healthy masculinity and femininity are the yin and yang of any society, but the current social order has tidaled too far to the letter. Womanist ideology, especially in modern manifestation, is a theory of breaking down men, deriding their nature as toxic, and feminizing children into weakness, submission, and compliance. I can't help but wonder if this was the plan all along. Psychologist Carl Jung used to say, if you can't understand someone's motivation for doing something, look at the result of their actions and infer the motivation. So, if we are surrounded by a society that is breaking down all gender norms, all roles of men and women, and we are becoming an atomized society of frail individuals, that's what modern womanism set out for to begin with. Young men who are blood life of a strong society for their strength, intelligence, virility, and courage are being tamed and numbed. They are fed endless entertainment, junk food, adult content, and a social message of weakness to the point that the next generation of men will hardly be able to be recruited to the military. Masculinity was always about overcoming your emotions and doing what's responsible and dignified, regardless. But it seems as though the femme-centric social order prioritizes emotions over stoicism. This is what Andrew Tate says, right? Even feminists, if they want a fireman to charge into a burning building, they don't want a man that caves into his emotions, rather overcomes them and does what's needed regardless of how he feels. This is the stoic message lost in a haze of weak social conditioning. I was absolutely saddened watching a View recently where a man was asking people on the street basic GK questions they could not answer, simple logical dots they could not connect. But the moment they asked the name of the Kardashian family, they had all of it at the tip of their tongue. Such is the state of modern men, drowning in distractions, floating aimlessly and undirected in life with no meaning beyond hedonistic pleasure. Gentlemen, I say this. In the Middle Ages, perhaps you might have had to go into war and fight lions to protect your tribe in order to be a masculine male. But today, all you have to do is go to the gym and stand firm in your convictions against a leftist cancel mob in order to be a true young male rebel defying social convention. It's in some ways easier than it was ever to be a standout man because the threshold is so pathetically low. Most men today are hooked to video games and chasing Instagram models, but their frail arms and fragile mental conviction sets them out to be utter failures in the harsh realities of this cold world. Conservative commentator Matt Walsh has an excellent and new documentary out called simply, What is a Woman? But I ask another question, what is a man? Listen, gentlemen, it's either you who define that term or the femme-centric weak and feminized SJW mob does. Take your pick. I'd much rather have my masculinity defined by myself than the blue-haired feminists on college campuses screaming at the top of their lungs against toxic men. I say own this label and wear it proudly. Society today needs the dad's message, and we desperately crave strong men to admire and look up to. Unfortunately, the womanist social order has made society the ultimate arbiter of your lifestyle. It has killed off the idea of men teaching other men, which is the way it has been for all of human history. Masculinity as a concept is not a strictly biological fact. It is a way of life, an identity that has to be carved and forged. And the most effective way to do that is for strong men to rise and show the light to the younger generations. I feel the pulse of modern men, and this is what I believe they need. The whole traditional social order is being torn down for being patriarchal. Such is the state of modern society. Marriage, modesty, loyalty, mediocrity, all of it has to be taken down and reversed in the name of a twisted ideology. Like a monkey with a wrench, they will only make things worse instead of fixing it. Today, men are left bereft, with no ground to stand on and no one to seek for guidance. They are chucked into a world where basic concepts of biology are breaking down and they all have to figure everything out themselves. All the while fighting their nature, sexuality, and the popular social narrative. It's all attack on all sides. But now's the time for counter-strike. Men are uniting against the gynocentric social order and saying enough. They're branded together in online communities and helping each other make the painful transition from boyhood to manhood. And this is the only solution. Masculinity must be reclaimed. We must refuse to bow down to the extreme leftist agendas and refuse to be apologetic in our reverence for traditional masculinity. This is the only game in town for us, because otherwise we'd be digging our own graves as a civilization. I say to you, the modern man, the gym is your cave, books are your portion, and your friends are your team. Build a community of strong men around you. Raise strong-minded sons and become the father they want to emulate. This is a culture war, and it will be fought the same way. And the only way to make this happen is to change your behavior. Philosopher Immanuel Kant said, "Before you undertake a mode of behavior in life, ask yourself, what would happen if the whole world started doing the same as me?" This is the point. Be the change you want to see, and I assure you, masculinity will make a comeback. But you don't have all the time in the world. You'll be gone soon, and this world will be inherited by your children. So do the needful. Now to build the world you want them to live in. In this fight, the online world is your greatest reservoir of knowledge and guidance. It is your well of masculine guidance, provided that you are part of the right communities. The internet can make or break you, and it is you who will have to make the decision about which side the pendulum should swing. I believe that in our own struggle, the internet has been my oyster. It has helped me when I had no one to talk to about my problems, and no one who understood me in my formative years. And this is why I created this channel. To play contrarian to the barrage of feminist messages to young men, and speak to them in a way they truly understand. I want more men in on the struggle with me. I want to join the fight for the modern man. So like this video and subscribe to the channel, because there are hundreds of more videos in the pipeline, and every one of them will take you one step ahead of the mass of blue-pilled beta men that populate the world today. Until next time.